Josh and Caleb.
Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel for this very special video. Got my buddy Alfred with us, one of the greatest directors of all time. Comment if you think differently. Gotta love Hitch. Great director. Anyway, kind of in line with what we're talking about. I've been trying for months I was thinking about doing a documentary all about the death of practical effects. But as I did months and months of research and was trying to get together, I was trying to get clips, and the clips were monetized and couldn't use them, so I kept going down trying to get clips and it wasn't working. I don't know how Dead Meat does it with the kill count, but couldn't use any of those clips. I had this cool intro. Anyway, so after months, I'm just like, forget, I'm not doing it at all. And then I'm like, well, why don't I do just a series of videos? Because I had certain chapters that I wanted to do. So I said, I'll just do each individual for a chapter and make videos. So I don't have to worry about the stress of doing a whole documentary, because that's a lot of work. If you guys did not know that. So thought about doing it, but decided just to do a series. I'm not going to call them episodes, but a series of what happened to practical effects. Hopefully you guys do enjoy this series. Did a bunch of research, as I've said, but wanted to do it because, you know, as a fan, I enjoy the old school practical effects. CG can work when it's done right, but we're going to talk about some movies that, like, you would think practical effects would work best for that movie, and then they just go CGI for no reason at all. So we're going to jump into that. The first two, some of these videos will be one subject, some will be two. So we're going to vary. I think there's going to be 4 different videos, if I did correctly in my head. But today's video will be specifically talking about the Witches remake and the Fog remake. Oh boy, buckle up. Because these are, like, there's some that get away with that work, but these two, oh man, they're bad. And we are going to get into that. But first, let's talk about this great documentary on Disney Plus all about practical effects. Well, they eventually talk about CGI, but Light and Magic, about how ILM started, which stands for Industrial Light and Magic, and they talk about how they came up with the name on Disney Plus. Great series, docu-series, loved it, created by Lawrence Kasdan, who's a great director, great screenwriter, wrote some Star Wars films, wrote Indiana Jones, awesome dude. He created and directed the series, great series, all about how ILM started. You know, when Star Wars was getting created, there wasn't really a special effects studio. So George Lucas started that. He also started Pixar. He created digital editing, bunch of stuff. Digital film. Anyway, so that is a great series. Go check that out. Some other docs you could see would be Ray Harryhausen, special effects titan, which stop motion is one of the best forms of special effect, practical effects, if you will. That is a great documentary. The Alien Saga, talking about how they made the suit and the chest burster, all that. Great documentary. Jaws, the inside story about how the shark would not work ever, so they had to improvise, and overall it helped the movie. So, those are some good ones. There are some bunch of others I'm sure I could mention, but we're going to move on. So how many modern day movies have used practical effects? We're just show them up on there as I talk about them. Tusk is one. They kind of had to because on the budget they had, but wow, great practical effects. I met the effects creator. He also worked on Scream and some other stuff. Robert Kurtzman. I had to look it up. Met him in, I believe it was Chicago or Philadelphia. We did both of those back to back. So, I think it was Philadelphia. But met him. Tusk, great. I enjoy the movie. A lot of people do not like it. It's on the edge of comedy and horror, and a lot of people just don't like that, which is understandable, but you can't deny the practical effects in that movie are great. Love the practical effects. He looks so realistic as a walrus. So good. Another one. Now, some of these do use CGI to blend, but mostly are practical effects movies. So, just throwing that out there. Edge of Tomorrow, the suits that they wear are real suits. Like, they were like 40 pounds each or something, maybe even 50 pounds. But Tom Cruise, of course, known for wanting to be shot in camera. Of course, the aliens are CGI. Another film, Mad Max Fury Road. Most of the all the stunts really were done in camera. Some of the explosions and the storm and stuff like that obviously were CGI, but 90, I want to say all the stunts, but there might be a few that were done with CGI, but for the most part, all the stunts, everything was shot in camera. So another film with practical effects, Inception. That's the hallway scene, done practically. There is CGI, yes. What's another one? Oh, and of course, Top Gun Maverick, the most recent movie with practical effects. All the chase sequences are done practically. Tom Cruise, obviously, and I could mention the Mission Impossible films. He likes to get in camera. Of course, some of the stuff they use miniature planes, but still practical effects. So, great movie. Love Top Gun Maverick. Now we will talk about some of my favorite movies with practical effects. Star Wars. Dick Tracy, great makeup effects as well. Super Mario Bros. A lot of people hate that. I actually love that movie. Beetlejuice. Back to the Future, The Thing, obviously, which will be another upcoming video. Look forward to that. Batman Returns, Lord of the Rings, Return of the Kings, which will also be its own video. Tremors, also its own video. I'm giving away all my upcoming videos. Double Dragon, The Howling, People Under the Stairs, In the Mouth of Madness, very underrated movie. John Carpenter, he will also be another upcoming video. Ways on this video as well. He will have another one. Jaws, which we talked about, the documentary. Mosquito, great movie. I will never not take a chance to talk about Mosquito. Psycho and The Birds. All great movies, known for doing practical effects. Then horror films, obviously, because of the budget, mainly use practical effects. That's probably why horror is, after mystery, probably my favorite genre of film. Most notably the Scream franchise, Friday the 13th, A Nightmare on Elm Street, not the remake, the Chucky films, even though I hate seeing Chucky, it's still practical, and the Universal Monster films, which are great. Behind me there, great movies, which saved Universal, and they're going to get their own land at Epic Universe. I might do a video about how Universal is going to eventually overtake Disney in the long term, because they are building a Universal Monsters land, a whole land, just on the Universal Monsters. Imagine being there at night and they're coming out and you can take pictures with them. That just blows my mind right there. Anyway, I'm going to do that video. Practical effects in its truest form has to be stop motion. Of course, Ray Harryhausen or stop motion animation. Some of the best animation ever done. You think of Nightmare Before Christmas, Wallace and Gromit, Corpse Bride. It's the purest form of practical effects. Because you can take an inanimate object, move it frame by frame, very slow. I know I did it once. And eventually, it brings it to life, and it looks so realistic. Now, of course, they can take liberties and do stuff that doesn't work in stop motion. And of course, I did a short called Toy 24/7. Our Jack 23, it's one of the featured channels down below. Go check it out if you want to watch it. It took me like a whole week to do that little short film stop motion. It had live action and stop motion. I just wanted to do it to test myself, my skills. It was a lot of fun bringing my toys to life, if you will. And of course, Ray Harryhausen, what he did in the live action side. Seven Voyages of Sinbad, one of my favorite movies ever made. He was just so good. Mysterious Island, great movie. So good. Okay, our first truly main topic is witches and how they killed such a classic movie. Oh man, okay. So I bought the new Witches, which I believe was was just on HBO Max, and then they decided to release it to get some more money, I think is how it is. Because they made it it didn't go to theaters, that I believe. Maybe it did. Anyway, when you look at the original, okay, let's talk about the original for a second. Great practical effects. She was a great high witch. I believe that's what it's called. Grand High Witch. She was great in that role. The suit, it terrified me as a child. Literally nightmares from this movie. Because the suit worked just so well. You believed she was a witch. And of course, Jim Henson, Creature Shop, designed everything. They also did Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Dark Crystal, Labyrinth, The Muppets, obviously, The Flintstones, Babe, Animal Farm, and they are doing the practical suits for the new Five Nights at Freddy's film. Yes, that is right. I just recently played those games. Caleb has on Switch, and we did a playthrough, which I believe is already on his channel, or is coming soon, but we did a playthrough of the Five Nights at Freddy's films. Go check it out. Caleb's channel is a featured channel on my homepage down below. Go check that out. There's self-promotion everywhere. But the original witches, I mean, just from the synopsis, just listen to this. From Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs to The Wizard of Oz, many classic tales wouldn't be half as exciting without a devious witch. Now add another to the venerable tradition of family-friendly stories. A collaboration that combines the effects wizardry of producer Jim Henson and the imagination of Willy Wonka creator Roald Dahl. Okay, that's just half of it. Now listen to this synopsis. A reimagining of Roald Dahl's beloved story. The Witches is a humorous and heartwarming tale of a young boy and his grandmother. The two encounter a group of deceptively glamorous but thoroughly diabolical witches from around the world who have been gathered together by the Grand High Witch to carry out her nefarious plans. Now, if you were just blind listening to those two synopses, which one would you pick? That is so lazy, guys. That is the laziest synopsis I've literally ever read. That is so lazy. Anyway, the main grievance with this one is the way overuse of CGI. Like, even her arms are CGI. Think about that. Her arms are CGI. And her face most of the time. Like, you're just making an excuse to spend money just so you can use CGI. Like the rats, okay. That could be CGI. It could also be practical. It would be cheaper, probably. Probably look better. If we're being honest. Again, some of the worst CGI I've literally ever seen. Literally. So, I'm not a fan of this remake. And I will probably most likely will not be keeping it. So this will be a time capsule. But, you know, the original, classic, and the story is lazy too. You don't feel any tension in the new one. And, like, it's directed by Robert Zemeckis, the guy who did Back to the Future and Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Like, you would think he could tell a story. No, I'm being probably way too harsh on this movie. I did want to watch it. I did want to enjoy it. I was actually excited about childhood classic. It can be remade and you can enjoy it. I enjoy the new Turtles films even though they're very CGI heavy. This one, for whatever reason, just struck a chord with me. I'm like, okay, I have to do a video about that. But we will also talk about some other things. Also, Anne Hathaway is one of the most beautiful actresses alive. So the thought that she could be a witch, I know there are pretty witches, yes, but a grand high witch needs to be a little scary, so there's some tension for the kids and stuff. Her mouth transformation is weird. Some of the CGI is very laughable, as I've said. She stretches her arms like down the air vents. At some point, I'm like, what were they thinking? All rules of what you can physically do are just thrown out the window. No tension, as I've said, and it made me want to start the series. I was going to do a documentary. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to split these up, and the witches is going to be the first thing we talk about, because it was just so bad. I need to rewatch it to be, you know, maybe come back to earth a little bit. It was just so... It was a waste of money, honestly. I don't know why studios have just fallen in love with CGI, and they will do it no matter, even if it's like doesn't make sense to do CGI. Like Cats, for example, the Cats movie. That made no sense to do CGI when you could have just done fursuits, honestly. The Broadway show had suits, and it worked. Why break the mold to spend hundreds of millions of dollars to do CGI? Just to do CGI. So that is why I want to go back, talk about practical effects, but we're not done. We have one more to talk about. Not quite as harsh as the witches, still very lazy. The Fog remake. The original Fog, one of the greatest uses of practical effects. Like, the pirates in this movie and the real Fog, they had like a bunch of fog machines. The Fog becomes like a literal character in the movie, and this is the Scream Factory release. Has a bunch of special bonus features, special features, how they created all that and the tension and whatnot. But the pirates are so scary in this version. In this version, it's like a PlayStation video game level of CGI. It just made me laugh so much. I don't know why John Carpenter has become so obsessed with retelling his own movies, redoing it with CGI. The Thing started out on a good, prequel, remake, whatever you want to call it, and that will be another video which we will talk about. This one, they knew they were doing CGI from the start. He's like, I want to redo it all with CGI. I don't know why directors become obsessed like with redoing their own stories with CGI. George obviously redoing the original trilogy. Steven redoing E.T. Peter Jackson doing the Hobbit movies, all CGI, which will be another video. But The Fog has a great cast. I will say that. That's why I keep it around. The cast is amazing. Tom Welling, Maggie Grace from Lost, and then, who else is in this? Selma Blair is also in this. I believe I remember her doing a good job. But they take the pirates of this one, it's like about treasure and stuff. This one, they're just like lepers, and they just want to haunt the town just because they crashed there. Like, John Carpenter was like the king of practical effects. Obviously, The Thing, The Fog, They Live, In the Mouth of Madness. I could just keep going on and on. Like, I don't know where he went from like that to all CG all the time. I don't understand how he went from that to that. But he did, and that's what we got. This one I will probably watch again, which is, hopefully I will never watch again. I should probably, though, watch it again just to make sure I saw what I saw, because I feel like it was a dream. Maybe. The story was just really dumb in this one. No tension. There were a boat full of lepers versus pirates, which was very scary. I mean, look at that on the back there. How scary is that? Okay, and then look at this guy. Not quite as scary. I'll do some comparison shots. Good cast, wasted basically, but they do a special feature feeling the effects of fog, which about how they made it CG and stuff. I should probably revisit that, but I would rather watch this one. Much better. Okay, so that is our first very emotional video on our practical effects series. I will not be calling it episodes. It will just be wherever I want to do a video, it will come out. Most likely on Sunday, like this one. So there you go. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it, even though we got a little passionate about the witches. Oh no, that one that was like a childhood favorite that like really scared me as a kid. So when I watched the new one and it was like not scary at all, not believable at all, very bad CGI, I'm like, that one hurt a little. It would be like if they remade Jaws, but it was all CGI. That one would probably hurt too. Or like Back to the Future. Anyway, all these video series will focus on practical effects. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. We will be diving deeper into the world of practical effects. Have some cool videos coming. I've teased almost all of them. Especially The Thing. I'm really excited about that one. a couple people have done the story about how the creators did not even know their work had been replaced with CGI. Like at the premiere, they had no idea. So that is coming. That might be next week's episode. We will see. Till then, I'm Josh. More videos coming soon. Wait. Till then. I'm Josh. More videos coming soon. Till then, if I don't see you out thrifting or at Walt Disney World, I will see you at the movies. Not watching The Witches. I don't think I ever got a theatrical release. I could be wrong, but yeah. Go watch the original, guys. It is way better. And The Fog. Even though I watched the remake for Tom Welling and Maggie Grace. They're great. Alright, practical effects. Love it. Hope you guys do too. Alright, tune in to next week, which will probably be another practical effects video. Alright, bye.